So we're going to take a look at getting your first recording done in Logic, and this time we're looking at doing an audio recording. So the first thing that we need to do is create a new project. So I already got Logic open here. So you just want to press Command N to go ahead and create a new project.
Choose default button. Choose a project. Create an empty project.
And I want to create an empty project. Now, if you already got another project open or something like that, it's going to ask you if you want to close it first. Just go ahead and say that you want to close it, and then you should get this screen. So I'm going to go ahead and click Choose.
Choose default button. Choose default button. Not 1 in new track dialog. 1 content selected. Edit text. Number of tracks.
And now this screen is asking us not only how many tracks we want to create the project with, but what type of tracks we want in our project. So if I jump to the top of this window,
software instrument selected. Radio button. 1 of 6.
You'll see software instrument is selected, and you want a software instrument track if you want to do some MIDI work, but we're doing audio. So let's continue through this dialog. I'm going to VO a right arrow.
Audio. Radio button. 2 of 6.
There we go. Audio.
Press audio. Selected. Radio button. 2 of 6.
And that's pretty much what we needed to change it to is audio. So I'm just going to hit VO N to jump to the end of this window.
Create default button.
And VO space on create.
Tracks contents group.
Now we should be in this Logic project and have one audio track.
Tracks header group.
So I'm going to go to track header.
In tracks header group. Track 1 audio 1 group.
There we go. Track 1 audio 1. All right. So now to record in Logic, the keyboard command for that is R, and by default, Logic will count you in for a measure, and then it's going to start recording you. Now, by default, Logic is set to use your built-in microphone and built-in speakers. So now if I click record, it will start counting me in for a measure, that's 4 clicks, and then it will start recording me through the internal microphone. This is a test of recording in Logic. You hear me through my built-in mic. Probably picking up a bit of the room too, considering my laptop's across the table from me.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And you hit space to stop that, and hit return to go to the start of the project.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And now if you hit play, this is a test of recording in Logic. You hear me through my built-in mic. Probably picking up a bit of the room too, considering my laptop's across the table from me. And there you go. So now if I'm going to hit
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
Space there to stop it. Now, if you only have your built-in microphone, that's the best you can do, but you can also plug in a USB microphone. You can plug in a audio interface and then plug a regular XLR microphone into that. And an audio interface will give you a lot more options as far as recording, like say your guitar and things like that as well. So what if you have an audio interface or a USB microphone? Well, you go into the audio preferences and you can select what interface or USB device you would like to record to. So to get into preferences, you're going to do that with Command, comma.
Preferences, dialog. Preferences. Startup action. Default template. Dimmed. Auto backup.
And I just quieted VoiceOver there with the control key. So now I'm going to press VO home to jump to the top of this window.
Toolbar.
Then we need to interact with the toolbar.
In toolbar. 11 items. General. Selected button.
And select the audio tab.
Audio button. Press audio button.
There we go. Audio. Stop interacting with this.
Audio toolbar. Devices. Selected. Tab. 1 of 6.
And the devices tab is what we need, so it's good that that's already selected for us.
General. Tab. 2 of editing. Tab. 3 of 6. I/O assignments. Tab. Audio file editor. Tab. 5 of 6. MP3. Tab. 6 of 6. Core audio. Enable. Checkbox. Output device. Built-in output. Pop-up button.
And you see that's set to built-in output. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to my audio interface.
Menu 8 items. Checkmark. Built-in output. Bose USB audio. Bose USB audio. Checkmark. Built-in out. Loopback audio. GMP logic. Go. Mixer. USB audio codec. UMC 400. System setting. UMC 400 for HD 192K.
All right, there we go. That's my audio interface, the UMC 404 HD.
Closing menu. UMC 400 for HD 192K. Pop-up button. UMC 400 for HD 192K. Check.
All right, so that's the output change.
Input device. UMC 400 for HD 192K. Pop-up button.
And you see in this case, it also changed the input for us, and that's what we want. We want to use the same device for input and output because that's what you want to do for best performance. And you're probably not going to have as many things in the list as I do. I have a bunch of other devices connected to the machine and some virtual devices I created because I use them to capture these tutorials. All right, so that's pretty much all you need to worry about changing in here initially. So you can jump to the bottom of this window with VO End.
Apply changes button.
And VO space on Apply Changes.
Devices selected. Tab. 1 of 6.
And now we can just Control W to close this window.
Now in Untitled Tracks window. Track 1 audio 1 group.
All right, so we have this audio track here. This is a test of recording.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And we don't really need that, so I'm just going to undo that recording so you can go to VOM.
Menu bar. Apple. Logic Pro. File. Edit.
Go to the edit menu.
Edit menu 27 items. Undo recording command. Z.
Undo
Zulu.
recording.
Can't undo.
Or you can just hit Command Z to undo as well. All right, so we can try recording from our audio interface. So let's go ahead and give that a try. And this is a test of recording using the audio interface and an XLR microphone. This probably will sound a lot better and a lot higher quality.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
We just hit space to stop that. And now if we hit space again, it should start playing it. And this is a test of recording using the audio interface and an XLR microphone. This probably will sound a lot better and a lot higher quality. All right.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
Hit space there. And there you go. So that's recording through an audio interface. Now, let's say you have an audio interface like this one that has multiple outputs and multiple inputs. Right now, I have the microphone plugged in to input 1, and by default, when you start a new recording, it does record from input 1. But let's say I want to record something from my guitar, and I want to record that on input 2. So I'm going to mute this track with the letter M. M mutes and S solos.
Toggle channel strip mute on.
So now when I play it, you don't hear anything because it's muted.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And I'm going to create another audio track. So I'm going to do Command Option A. And that adds a new audio track to the project.
Track 2 audio 2 group.
There we go. And on this one, we want to change the input to input 2 because that's the input that my guitar is plugged into. So the easiest way to do that is to jump into the mixer. And you can get into the mixer quickly by Command 2. I like to use Command 2 instead of X because Command 2 puts the mixer in its own window. And then I can use Command Accent to go between the mixer and this main window view. So I'm going to press Command 2.
Now in Untitled Mixer Tracks window audio 2 channel strip group.
And you see the mixer puts us right on the track we're on in the channel strip already. And by the way, if you don't have Logic full screen, you should do so with Command Control F because having Logic in full screen mode will allow a lot more stuff to read more reliable with VoiceOver. So it puts us right on the channel strip for track 2. So we're going to interact with the channel strip.
In audio 2 channel strip group. 26 items. Audio 2 name text.
And I'm going to press VO home to jump to the start of the channel strip because it puts us at the end of it.
Sensitivity button.
And now I'm going to use the VO right arrow to navigate through this.
Off. Phantom power switch off. High pass filter switch off. Phase invert switch 0. Input gain slider 0. Input gain knob. Circular hardware monitoring button.
These input gain and phantom power switches won't do anything with this interface. I'll demonstrate what they do in a later tutorial and how to hide them also in a later tutorial so you don't always have to scroll through these.
Setting button. Off. Gain reduction meter switch. Off. EQ button. Mono. Channel mode switch. Input 1 button.
All right, there we go. We got to where it says input 1, right after where it says mono channel mode. So we're going to VO space on this pop-up button.
Menu. 4 items. Check mark. Input 1. No input. Dash input submenu.
We're going to go down to where it says dash input and activate that submenu with the right arrow.
Input submenu 4 items check mark. Input 1. Input 2.
And there we select input 2.
Press input 2. Input 2 button.
And now that we have input 2 selected, if we want to hear our guitar through Logic, that way we don't have to monitor it through the interface, you want to turn on input monitoring. And to do that, I'm going to continue through this channel strip. It's one of the options towards the end of the channel strip. Actually, to save us time, I'm going to press VO N to jump to the end of the channel strip.
Audio 2. Name text.
And then just use VO left arrow to find the input option. So first we're going to have solo, then mute, and then input monitoring.
Off. Solo switch. Off. Mute switch. Off. Monitoring switch.
So if I VO space on this,
Press. Off. Monitoring switch.
it still says off, but if I move off of it
Mute switch. On. Switch.
and move back onto it, it says on. So we got input monitoring on. So now we'll be able to hear our guitar through Logic while we're playing it. So I'm going to jump back over to the main window with Command Accent.
Now in Untitled Tracks window. Track 2 audio 2 group.
All right, and you see we're on track 2 here. So I'm going to grab my guitar and we can attempt to do another recording. All right, so we got the guitar in hand. Anyway, so let's hit R and start recording. And If we hit space, we can stop it.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And hit space to play.
One bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
That turned out all right. Now, let's say you want to play along with the metronome. You notice the metronome is only counting you in. So if you want to play along with the metronome, we can go change the metronome settings. And you can also change the counting. I'm going to change the counting to count me in for 2 measures because that gives me a little bit more time between hit and record and when I need to get my fingers in position on the guitar neck to start playing. So let's go take a look at how to change those settings. So we're going to use VOM to jump to the menus.
Menu bar, Apple.
And then we're going to hit R to jump to the record menu.
Record.
And now we're going to VO down arrow for this menu.
Record. Menu 10 count in. Submenu.
So count in submenu. I'm going to first go here.
Count in. Submenu 16 items none. Check mark. 1 bar.
You see it's set to 1 bar.
2 bars.
I'm going to set this to 2 bars.
2 bars. Check.
And now we're going to go back to the same menu. So VOM.
Menu bar. Apple.
Press R to jump to the record menu. And now we're looking for metronome settings.
Record. Menu 10 items. Count in. Submenu. Metronome settings ellipsis.
Metronome settings. There we go. VO space.
Metronome settings. Untitled. Project settings. Dialog. Untitled. Project settings. Dialog. Untitled. Project settings. Options. Source. MIDI click. Note. Options. Simple mode. Check. Checkbox.
So we have simple mode. We're going to uncheck that.
Uncheck simple mode. Checkbox. Click while recording. Check. Checkbox.
We want it to click while recording. That is checked. So we're going to leave that checked.
Only during count in. Uncheck. Checkbox.
If you only want it to click while during count-in, you can just check that and uncheck click while recording.
Click while playing. Uncheck. Checkbox.
And we don't want it to click during playback. At least I don't. So I'm going to leave that unchecked. So that's pretty much all you need to change in here to get recording. So I'm going to close this window with Command W.
Now in. Untitled. Tracks. Window. Track 2 audio.
And I'm going to undo that recording with Command Z.
Undo. 1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
Now we have nothing there. So now I'm going to hit R. It's going to count me in for 2 bars this time, so 8 clicks. And then it's going to keep clicking away on the metronome while I'm playing. And hopefully that will keep me in time a little bit better.
Nine bars 1 beat 2 divisions 173 ticks. 1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
I couldn't hear the metronome as well, so I probably didn't play as much on time as I did. So you can adjust the volume of your recording down a little bit. You can turn down the track a little bit so you can hear the metronome a little bit better. Or you can go into the metronome settings and turn the metronome volume up a little bit if it's not already on 100%. So let's play this back.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And there we go. We got a basic recording done. Now, if you want to say record your guitar through an amplifier or something like that, I'm going to show you how we can do that. So if we go into the library, so I'm going to stop interacting here.
Auto tracks header, auto tracks group, auto tracks group.
And now if we navigate to the left, once we've stopped interacting with the tracks area.
Inspector group. Untitled tracks. Control bar, toolbar.
Okay, so you see we went from the inspector to the toolbar, which means the library is not visible. So I'm going to press Y to make the library visible. And now if I use the VO right arrow.
Untitled tracks. Library group.
You see the library group there. So we interact with the library.
Group. Search sounds. Search text. Library browser. Tools. Pop-up button. Library browser.
We go to the library browser, interact with this.
Library browser. Drums and percussion. Voice. Performance patches. Studio instruments. Acoustic guitar. Electric guitar and bass.
Electric guitar and bass. That's what we're looking for.
Clean guitar. Column 2 of 2.
And so if we go to clean guitar, you're going to see a bunch of different presets. So if you want a clean guitar sound.
Amazing tweed. Column 3 of 3.
So there's amazing tweed.
Big tube. Grit and clean. Chicken pickin'.
So let's hear what some of these sound like.
Clean echoes. Clean room. 1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
There you go. You can pick one of those. And once you find one you like, you can leave it on that. So I'm going to go back to chicken pickin'.
Clean echoes. Chicken pickin'.
I'm going to pick that one. So now.
Out of library. Out of library.
Let's get out of here.
Inspector group tracks group in track tracks group in track tracks time tracks header group in tracks header group track 2 chicken pickin' group.
Now let's say you want to double this guitar part. So I'm going to pan this to the left. I'm going to interact with this track header.
In track 2 chicken pickin' group 0 pan circular slider.
So we see that 0 pan.
In circular slider.
Going to pan this all the way over to the left.
10 of 20 of 30, 40, 50, 60, 60. Out of circular slider. Out of track 2 chicken pickin. Group.
All right. So now I'm going to duplicate this track with Command D.
New track with duplicate settings. Track 3 chicken pickin. Group.
And so now we have another track with chicken picking on it. I'm going to interact.
In track 3 chicken pick 64 of 64. Left channel pan. Circular slider.
And I'm going to send this one all the way to the right.
54, 40, 30, 20, 44, 6, 26, 30, 46, 56, 63 of 6.
And so now this one is all the way on the right. So now I'm going to stop interacting
Out of track 3
here.
chicken pickin. Group. Track 2 chicken pickin. Group.
And I went back to track 2. I'm going to turn off input monitoring on track 2.
In track 2 chicken pickin. Group. 64 of 64. Plus 0.0 input monitoring. Checkbox.
There it is.
Uncheck input monitoring.
Uncheck.
Checkbox. Out of track 2 chicken pickin. Track 3 chicken pickin. Group.
All right. So now we should only hear the guitar on the right side. So now I'm going to hit record again. It's going to count me in, and we'll play along to that rip again.
One bar, one beat, one division, one tick.
So there we go. We got that recorded, and now we have one on the left and one on the right.
One bar, one beat, one division, one tick.
And that's the best way to double a sound. All right. I'm going to go back up to this first track.
Track 2 chicken pick. Track 1 audio 1. Group.
And remember, we have this muted because we recorded the test vocal on here at one point.
Toggle channel strip mute off.
And this is a test of recording.
One bar, one beat, one division, one tick.
Right. So I'm going to hit the delete key because that will delete all the selected regions on the selected track. And so that will get rid of that region.
Toolbar button. Delete. Delete recorded audio file from disk. Can't undo this operation. File name. OK. Default button.
Yep. I'm going to hit OK.
Now in Untitled Tracks window. Track 1 audio 1. Group.
And now remember, this track was set to input 1 and it's still on input 1 because that was a setting for this track. So now if I start recording, it will start recording on input 1 from the microphone again. So I'm going to put my guitar down and then we can record something else from input 1. Also, too, I'm going to turn off input monitoring on the guitar track so we're not picking up any noise from the guitar while it's just sitting there.
Track 2 chicken pickin. Track 3 chicken pickin. Group. In track 3 chicken 63 of 63 plus 0.0 decibel. Input monitoring. Checkbox. Uncheck input monitoring. Checkbox.
That.
Out of track 3 chicken. Track 2 chicken pickin. Group. Track 1 audio 1. Group. Track 1 audio 1. Group.
And now if you want to hear yourself while you're recording your vocals,
In track 1 audio 1. 0 pan. Plus 0.0 input monitoring. Uncheck. Checkbox. Record enable. Uncheck. Checkbox. Input monitoring. Uncheck. Checkbox.
you can turn on input monitoring.
Check input monitoring. Checkbox.
And now if we press Command Accent to jump back into the mixer,
Now in Untitled Mixer Tracks window. Mixer layout area. Mixer toolbar. Mixer toolbar. Mixer layout area. Mixer layout area.
interact with the mixer layout
In mixer
area.
layout area. 6 items. Audio 1. Channel strip group.
You see it's on audio 1.
In audio 1. Channel strip group.
And
32 items.
let's
Audio 1. Name.
add
Text.
an effect to this so we can hear a voice through like some reverb or something. You can also go into the library and select a tracking preset, a vocal tracking preset if you'd like. But if you want to add a third-party effect, like something that didn't come with Logic, you're going to want to come into the mixer here and navigate to one of the audio effects slot and put an effect in there that way.
Off. On. Mixed. 0 point off. Mic off. 0. Automation. Group off. Group. Stereo output. Button. Send button. Button. Send button. Button. Audio plugin. Button. Audio plugin. Audio plugin. Audio plugin. Audio plugin. Audio plugin. Input 1. Button. Audio plugin. Button.
So I usually like to find the first audio plugin slot. So I go to where it says input 1 or input 2 or whatever. And then I go back one to the right and select the first audio effects slot. So if you want to put an effect on here, just VO space on this.
Menu 22 items check mark. No plugin.
You can just down arrow through this list.
Recent. Dim. Revoice scrolling. Sub stereo delay. Submenu. Isotope nectar 2 pitch editor. Submenu. VX_ZQ. Submenu. Amps and pedals. Submenu. Delay. Submenu.
You'll see all the most recent stuff we used. And then when you see these categories like delay,
Distortion. Submenu. Dynamics. Submenu.
these are all the plugins that Logic comes with.
EQ. Submenu. Filter. Submenu. Imaging. Submenu. Metering. Submenu. Modulation. Submenu. Multi-effects. Submenu. Pitch. Submenu. Reverb. Submenu. Specialized. Submenu. Utility. Submenu. Audio units. Submenu. Audio units. Submenu.
But then if you want to add a plugin that didn't come with Logic, you go down to where it says audio unit.
Audio units. Antares. Apogee. Apple. Submenu. Audio things. Baby audio. Submenu. Categorize. Submenu. Drumforge. Submenu. Eventide. Submenu. Focusrite. Submenu. Isotope. Submenu.
And you can select the plugin from here. But you know what? Let's go ahead and select one of the Logic ones.
Menu 22 items. Audio units. Submenu.
So I'm going to go up
Utility. Specialized.
here.
Reverb. Submenu. Pitch. Submenu. Reverb. Submenu.
Let's go to
Reverb.
reverb.
Submenu. 4 items. Chroma reverb. Submenu.
And I'm going to go with Chroma Verb for now. So I'm just going to hit return on that.
Audio 1. Dialog. Audio 1. Dialog. Audio 1.
All right. So there we go.
Audio 1. Close button. Close button. Now in empty. Untitled. Mixer. Tracks. Window. Mixer. Layout area.
And now you should be hearing my voice through some reverb. So If I hit R to record, let's jump back to the main window.
Now in Untitled Tracks window. Input mod.
And I press R to record. I apologize that you had to hear that.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
All right. And so I hit space, and now if we hit play, we'll hear this back. I apologize that you had to hear that.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And now if you want to adjust the levels, you can interact with the track headers and turn the volumes up and down.
Plus 0.0 decibels. Volume slider.
So right there, you can turn the vocals up.
Slider. Plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4.0 decibels. Plus 5.0 decibels. 1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
But what I would recommend doing, I'm going to turn the vocals back now.
Plus 4, plus 3, plus 2, plus 0.0 decibels. Out of slider. Out of track 1 audio 1. Group.
I'd recommend turning the guitars down.
Track 2 chicken pickin'. Group.
So go to track 2,
In
interact.
track 2 chick 64 64. Left plus 0.0 decibels. Volume slider.
Interact with the volume slider.
Minus 1 point, minus 2 points, minus 3 point, minus 4, minus 5.0, minus 6.0 decibels. Out of slider. Out of track 2 chicken pickin'. Group. Track 3 chicken pickin'. Group.
Go to track 3,
In
interact.
track 3 chicken pickin'. 63 plus 0.0 decibels. In slider. Minus 1, minus 2 point, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6.0 decibels. Out of slider.
All right, so now stop interacting with that
Out
slider
of track 3 chicken pickin'. Group.
and stop interacting with the track. You don't want to hear me singing.
1 bar 1 beat 1 division 1 tick.
And there you go. Now that you kind of got this basic project going, we should probably cover saving it. So if you want to save this, you can just press Command S.
Save project logics. Project. Is selected. Save as. Edit text. Save as. Tags. Organize my project as A. Copy the following files into your project.
I just quieted VoiceOver there with Control. So the first thing you want to do is give this a name. So I'm going to name this
Selection replaced. Y.
my
F R S T
first
L O G I C
Logic
R E C O R I N G.
recording.
My first logic recording logics.
And now if we navigate through this window,
Tags. M. Mic. Back dim button. Forward dim button. Group menu button. New folder button. Logic. Where pop up button.
so you see it saves it in the Logic folder by default, and that Logic folder is in your home folder.
Show less options. Expanded. Disclosure. Search text field. Blank. Sidebar. Table. No selection. Vertical splitter. Column view. Browser 1 item selected. Logic. Group. For organize my project as A. Package. Selected. Radio button. 1 of 2.
All right, organize my project as a, the two options are package
Folder. Radio button. 2 of
and
2.
folder. Now, I recommend leaving it as a package because what happens when you save it as a package is it basically puts all the assets that the project needs into one file. All right, what else is in here?
Copy the following files into your project. Audio files. Check. Checkbox.
So yes, you want to have audio files copied into the project. You really don't need to worry about the rest of these, but in the future, you can go through and check off some of these as needed.
EXS instruments and samples. Uncheck. Checkbox. Alchemy audio data. Check. Checkbox. Ultrabeat samples. Uncheck. Checkbox. Bass designer impulse responses. Uncheck. Movie file. Uncheck. Checkbox. Include Apple Sound library content. Uncheck. New folder button. Cancel button. Save default button.
And then we come to the save button. So if I VO space on the save button, it will save the project for us. And then we can come back and reopen it later and add some more to it, change it or edit it, etc., etc. All right. So hopefully you found that helpful. We covered how to get your first audio recording done in Logic today. We covered adding new tracks to the project, recording from different inputs. So we recorded our vocals from input 1, recorded a guitar from input 2. We duplicated the track so that we could, add another guitar part. And we showed how to add some effects to the track, both using the library or just adding a single effect right from the channel strip in the mixer. We covered panning and how to adjust the volume of your tracks as well. So if you have any further questions or any comments or anything that you'd like to see me cover in a future tutorial, please feel free to leave those in the comments. There will definitely be future tutorials that dive a bit more in depth as far as recording and Logic goes. Also check out the first MIDI recording tutorial to see how to record with MIDI and get started with that as well. All right, happy recording.